Do you have a question you need some clarity on? I got some messages. It's Monday reading time. Welcome. Happy Monday, everyone. It's been a fun-filled Monday. Our little goat Coco gave birth to a little baby girl. I think we're gonna name her Starlight as long as the kids, sorry, I was moving my lip, as long as the kids let me name her that, but that's kind of the name I want to name her. What else? Kids went back to school today, but they only had a half day, so they're already back home. So that was fun. And, I am releasing a new course called Soul-Led Manifesting. I get a lot of questions about how did you manifest 40 acres of land, Nikki? And how did you find your husband? And what about like doing this work and having a nice lifestyle and all that kind of stuff? So I just figured I'd put all that into a little mini course and explain my process, exactly actually what I do, because I do something to make that stuff happen. So I share that process with you. And there's a coupon available for this week that you can get the course for $67. Friday is the last day. And I'll be doing like some fun stuff throughout the week to promote that course. So like I have a healing scheduled tomorrow for you guys, and Benny is actually recording his tips on manifesting because he is the manifesting king. I love like the difference between like female and masculine manifesting, so I'm excited to share that with you. We're gonna do a really fun North Node and South Node class with Christina about like how to manifest from a place of destiny, because I don't like to manifest things like that are not really meant for me. So I like to figure out what is truly meant for me and then go from there. So that's what I'm going to teach. So yeah, if you're interested, link in profile. Okay, let me just close this out. All right, so go ahead and get ready to ask yourself a question. I'm just going to clear myself, praying for you that you hear whatever it is that you're meant to hear, and that may your heart and your ears be open. May I be a clear vessel of messages. And let's do this thing. Okay, the first message, I'm looking at my clipboard. The first message I got was like very, very clear, and it said, this is a test. So it made me feel like whatever you guys are asking about on this one, it's a little bit of like revisiting something that you've probably been healing, something that you thought you were over, and you're kind of like revisiting this place to see how far you've come. So example would be like you made a strong decision that you were going to leave this career and you were going to work towards this career, and then all of a sudden a job like from the old career shows up and you're asking yourself like, should I take it or should I not? So kind of like a little bit of that kind of testing, that it's like, well, what did you decide, and how did it, like, didn't you already work through the fact that you know you're meant to go this way? So revisiting a little bit about like what you knew was true for you. And this is hard because actually, and it's funny, this is like manifesting stuff, you know, like you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm excited. Like this is for me. And then like a week goes by and something happens in that week that you get like really nervous and you stop believing in yourself. This message is about going back to that initial knowing, like when you knew that it was right for you. So having to like overcome a little bit of those tests that come when we start getting a little scared. This is also about like looking at an old trauma or an old, maybe not trauma, but like old wound is probably the better word, excuse me. So like looking at an old trauma where, like for instance, maybe you used to date and it made you feel horrible and you were like, I'm not gonna date anymore and I'm gonna really work on myself and do some things and get to a better place, and you've been doing therapy for a year and now you're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm gonna go and date. And what might happen is that you find yourself wanting to go back to old patterns, or you know, really seeing like the possibility to go into old patterns. So it's just a reminder that like you have changed, and just because the exterior hasn't changed doesn't mean that the results are not going to be different. So it seems like you might put some emphasis on like, oh my gosh, these people haven't changed, dating hasn't changed, whatever, the world hasn't changed, but that exterior change that you might be like looking for doesn't really matter. It's really about that you have changed. So coming back and allowing yourself to react differently, to make sure that you're living into those new habits that you've already created, that you're embodying those new habits, that like you're walking your talk, you know, like whatever you've understood, let's say in your healing or in your therapy, that you're like living it and not going and relapsing back into old ways. So what's happening right now is a test, right? Let me see. Looks like there's a little bit of people pleasing happening here too, like almost trying to make everybody feel okay and not uncomfortable. And like you're kind of like that's like the beginning drug that then like brings you back into the use of like an old way of coping. So you've done great work. You can do this. Just live into the new habits that you have already created, and every day is a new opportunity to get back on that horse. So if you've, tripped a little bit and gone back into old ways, this is just like a reminder that you get to choose again, Okay. So message number 2. Message number 2 felt like you're asking about something that feels very uncomfortable and scary. And that like you're not sure if that scary feeling means that you should be getting off this path or if it's like something else. It's almost like, I don't know if my intuition is telling me to run or if I'm just like scared about something that could be good for you. And what I was getting about this was that there's a difference between like your heart and your body in this situation. So your heart may know something and may want to go into a direction, but your body is really being like triggered by old, I guess we can use the word trauma here actually, like old stories, old traumas. So an example would be, we can use a dating example again, like I haven't dated for a while, but now I'm like ready to, and I go and I feel so uncomfortable, like I just want to run away from this date. And it's really like, not that the date is bad or that the person is bad or that you dating is bad. It's that your body like doesn't know if it can trust this scenario again. It's kind of like those little dogs that have been abused, that every time you like go down to like give them a hug or pet them, they freak out. They're like very skittish because somebody has like abused them in the past. So it's not that this new person isn't loving and that doesn't, it's that like the dog has been through stuff. So the reaction that you're having to this is not a sign that it's like the wrong thing. It's really a sign that your body needs a little support and help. So like that inner mother voice has to come in. There has to be extra care for yourself. Also like moving slower is better here because there is an opportunity to like move too fast because it feels so uncomfortable that it's like, oh, let me just like get out of this quickly, rip the Band-Aid off, and then go back into like old, like toxic behaviors. There's something like toxic about this that could happen. And that but the good news about this is like you've done so much work on this area, and you're really like, I also got the sense that like you're on the right path. You deserve a lot of applause. You're doing great work. Just take it step by step. Like it does not have to be like this huge deal. It doesn't have to be like the thing that takes up all this time in your life. It's just like a little like step by step. Balance your like giving and receiving, and it makes me feel like this thing in the past you might have put like a lot of energy into it or given a lot to it, and you don't have to here. Like it just seems like it should be just like one other little thing that's in your life, but not the only thing that's in your life. So which is like balance and like, where we all want to get to when we like took something too far and like we want to reintroduce it into our lives, but we don't want it to take over us again. Like we just want to take like small sips or small bites, and that's what this is about. So little by little, self-mothering. Okay, my friends, thank you so much. I love being here with you. I hope to see you the rest of the week. And if you have any questions about the manifesting course, let me know, and I will see you soon.